Location.
It's okay, buddy.
Okay. We are headed, after we get done telling the story of Esther, you will not be courageous and all that. And then after we get everything packed up for your parents, we're headed to the Sahara Desert. It'll be good. It'll be a good time. So, that's where we're headed off next.
So, you like it? All right, so raising hands. Let's raise our hands. What was the word that Dakota kept on saying? Jordan? Starts with a C. I'm asking Jordan, not you, Anthony. Courage. And what did they say courage meant? Or another word for courage is what? Courageous. Or another word starts with a B. There's a Disney movie. Alright, brave. And what did they say being brave or courageous means? Facing your fears. Yeah. And then 2 more questions. Yes, Darren. What?
So I was watching the show. So this girl, her name Anita Mill. No.
Okay. Of course. Anyway, all right. And one more time. I don't know if you could hear it or not, but where did they say they were going next? The desert. And did Monty like that or no? No. All right. Well, we have books of the Bible. We're at, look at this. We're at the end of the history. You want to know when we started Joshua? Does anybody remember?
Yes.
We started Joshua in the middle of October.
What? Yeah, but.
So we went through all this. So we're finally at the end of the history. Let's give ourselves a hand clap. Let's give our final. All right. So we have our song. So here we go.
Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy, Joshua, Judges, Ruth, 1st and 2nd Samuel, 1st and 2nd Kings, 1st and 2nd Chronicles, Samuel, 1st and 2nd Ezra, Nehemiah, Esther, Job, Psalms and Proverbs, Ecclesiastes, and the Song of Solomon, Isaiah, Jeremiah, Lamentation, Ezekiel and Daniel, Hosea, Joel, Amos, Obadiah, Jonah, Micah, Nahum, Habakkuk, Zephaniah, Haggai, Zechariah, Malachi. One more time. Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy, Joshua, Judges, Ruth, 1st and 2nd Samuel, 1st and 2nd Kings, 1st and 2nd Chronicles, Samuel, 1st and 2nd Ezra, Nehemiah, Esther, Job, Psalms and Proverbs, Ecclesiastes, and the Song of Solomon, Isaiah, Jeremiah, Lamentation, Ezekiel and Daniel, Hosea, Joel, Amos, Obadiah, Jonah, Micah, Nahum, Habakkuk, Zephaniah, Haggai, Zechariah, Malachi.
All right, sit in our seats. No more times.
So like Andrew said, we are finally at the end of a books of history.
Finally.
Finally at the end of history. Sarah, you gotta help me. You gotta help me out. Can you help me out? Okay, here's the situation. I just heard about this. Okay? I just heard about this. There's this mean guy. Okay? I don't even know his name. But there's this mean guy who I heard is going to try and attack me and my whole family. Me and my whole family. Can you believe that? I didn't even do anything to this mean guy.
Listen.
I didn't do anything to this mean guy. And he's not coming after me. He's not only coming after me, but he's coming after my whole family. Can you believe that?
Yeah.
But Sarah, here's the thing.
Does he have the crossbow in his face?
Sarah's pretty brave. Aren't you brave? Yeah, I think you're pretty brave. So, this mean guy, he's got a boss. He's got his boss. Yeah, like Kingpin almost in Marvel. He's got this boss. If you go to his boss, I think you may be able to help me and my whole family out. Do you think you can do that? Do you think you can be brave?
I can do it.
You think you can be brave? Thank you so much, Sarah. We'll talk after church. Thank you so much, Sarah. Thank you for saving us, Sarah.
Wow.
Thank you for saving us, Sarah.
Yeah, you turn into Thunder Girl. Your hands are sweaty.
I know. It's because I'm nervous. My whole family is going to be already be attached.
I'll pass it off to his hands.
Who else would you think you would be brave if somebody was coming to attack not only you, but your whole family, and there was even a chance you could stop them? Who would be brave?
Me.
Or who?
I would do it. I would actually do it. I would do it.
Or who would be a little bit scared? Well, that is exactly...
Right in the face.
That's exactly what happens in our next book of the Bible, a book about a girl, some girl power in here today. The book of Esther.
Wow.
The book of Esther.
Amen.
Some girl power up in here this morning. Who's ever heard about Esther before? Esther, the one who won the beauty pageant?
No.
Yeah. Because the king was looking for a new wife, and so he got all the girls together. And Esther, the Bible says this, Esther was the most beautiful. So when the king saw Esther, he was like, "Oh, hello." And Esther and the king got married. So what did that? When somebody marries a king, what does that make them?
Queen.
A queen. So Esther became queen, but there was a problem. Who, Athena, Sarah, somebody who knows the story of Esther, what was the problem that Esther faced?
The queen's problem.
I'll tell you, there was this really mean guy. His name was Haman.
He wanted to marry her.
Was Haman. It was almost like, "Hey, man,"
More like hate man.
or "Hate man."
Hey man.
He didn't like the Jews. Especially, he didn't like, some people call it her cousin or her uncle. He really didn't like Esther's relative named Mordecai. Mordecai.
Like Mordecai
From regular show, yeah. So as a matter of fact, come here, Elijah.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact,
Hi, I like trains.
you're gonna be Mordecai. I'll be the bad guy. Okay? So as a matter of fact, this bad guy, Haman, he thought that when he's walking around the town, the people should bow down to him. Because he thought he was all that. He's like, "Check it out." So he thought he was this cool guy. But Mordecai, he wouldn't bow down. So, hey man, why are you not bowing down to me?
Hey, man.
What's up? That's my name. How come you're not bowing down to me? What's up with that? Are you gonna bow down to me? No.
I don't like your mustache.
Boy, ooh. Thank you, Elijah. Good job. Good job. So Mordecai,
Your mustache off.
Mordecai knew that he could only bow down to God. Not to humans, not to other men, but to God. So this made Haman really mad. Really, really mad. Okay, come here, Darren.
I don't like the hell.
Come here, Darren.
That's
Darren, today I have made you king. You are king now. Okay. So come here, Darren.
But you don't like your
I know. Come here, Darren. So Haman went to the king and said, "King, my boy, listen, there's this group of people, okay, they are taking, what's your favorite kind of food again?"
Pizza.
Dude, they're eating all the pizza. They're taking all the pizza. We gotta do something. We gotta punish these guys. So Haman tricked the king, and the king said, "You do whatever you want to do." Thank you, Darren. So Haman made a law that Mordecai, the Jews, and everybody else who was a Jew was going to die. He was going to wipe them all out, including Esther. Now, Esther, they kept her, she was not like anybody knows, she was a Jew. So, Mordecai came to Esther and said, Esther, here's the situation. We got this guy, he's going to wipe our whole family out. You are the only one who could go and talk about this to the king. You're the queen. You're the queen. He's the king. Clearly, if the king was going to listen to anybody, it would clearly be the queen. But there was a problem. Because the king, there was this rule. There was to be nobody coming into the king's bed, in the king's room, in the king's chamber, without an invitation. How many of you have ever been invited to a birthday party? How many of you have tried to get into a birthday party where you weren't invited? I mean, it's like, hey. How many of you have tried, when you know there's a party going on, you did not get the invitation, but you try to go anyway? And people, when you go, people are like, well, you were not invited in here, get out. You're not supposed to be in this party. Well, there was the same kind of thing. Nobody could come to a king uninvited. And Esther knew this. In fact, the law was that if the king put out his scepter like this when he saw you, you could stay. You could come and talk to him. But if he didn't, you were going to be in trouble. You were going to be in big trouble if you showed up to the king uninvited and he didn't want you in there. So I'm sure Esther was a little scared. Because she knew that if she walked in the king's room uninvited and he doesn't go, yep, come on in, she'd be locked up. She could die maybe. She was scared. So after her and Mordecai talk about it, they said, and Esther tells Mordecai, here's what you need to do. Mordecai does, if you've heard the story of Esther, you may have heard that Mordecai tells her, you are here for this tough point in time, you're here for a reason. Something like that.
Can we watch the show instead?
Well, we'll see. I got a video for you in a minute. Esther tells Mordecai to pray. And Esther decides, this is in the Bible, she decides to go see the king, and she says, if I die, I die. But I'm going to go do this. How many of you think that response from Esther was pretty brave? Knowing that if she didn't get the go-ahead from the king, she knew she wasn't invited in. She knew she was going to crash the king's. He could be playing video games. He could be doing his king work. I don't know what kings do, but he could be doing some important stuff. He could be doing his taxes. He could be doing all this king stuff.
Get it messy.
Esther knew that if she didn't get a go-ahead when he held out his scepter, she could be in big trouble. But yet she said, it's in the Bible, you can go home and read it in your Bible. And Esther, she said, if I die, I die. But I'm going to go do this. Do you think that's brave? Yeah, that's crazy brave, isn't it?
I said that.
Yes, you did. That's crazy brave. That's having courage, right? Where do you think she got that courage from? Not eating Taco Bell.
She's like eating Taco Bell.
No, what's being brave is eating Popeyes.
Oh yeah. Being brave. He's brave because she's been wearing a lot of crowns.
Because she's been wearing a lot of crowns, okay. Where do you think this courage came from? Jordan? Did you raise your hand or are you stretching? Stretching the back of your head. I get it. It's itchy sometimes back there. Who said it? God. Right, Elijah? Do we think that courage came from God? Yeah. But here's something you may not know in Esther.
Yes, sir.
The name God is not even mentioned in the Book of Esther. His name isn't even said. I just read it this week. His name's not even in there. But yet God gave Esther the courage. Do you think God was still helping Esther even though he's not mentioned in the story? Yeah. God was giving Esther courage to make her brave. So what is courage? Elijah? Being brave. Okay. Courage. I have some puppet friends who are going to tell us what courage is here in a second. Courage.
Can I do it? Just watch the show.
Courage. I'm going to use this as my pointer. Courage is the ability and willingness to confront fear, pain, or danger, uncertainty. And the words that kind of mean the same are bravery, fearlessness, daring, heroism, boldness, guts. How many?
I know.
Have you any of you guys heard any of those words before?
We learned synonyms in school.
Synonym, yeah, not cinnamon. Like I have a hard time saying it. Cinnamon, not synonym.
Synonym.
I got pride. You have some stuff. Miss Kelsey is looking for people who's sitting quietly paying attention. So Esther had courage, bravery. Now we can have courage or bravery in a lot of different situations, can't we? There's a lot of different. Who's ever been scared in any kind of situation? We all get scared about certain things. It can be going to a doctor. It can be going to school. It can be whatever. We can have courage or bravery in a lot of different aspects in life. Yes, Elijah.
I love church.
You love church? I'm so glad. Yes, Darren.
I love church in school.
You're awesome. All right. Well, I think we have some puppets who are going to talk about what courage is and how we can have courage in different situations.
You guys got it? No, you backward. Your head down. That's what I thought. Backward. It's only an hour.
Shh. No. I don't know. All right, be quiet. Let's pay attention.
I brought with me some special presents for my friend Fred. This is where he lives. But I can't. But I think he's gone to sleep. Can you all help me wake him up? On a count of 3, can you say, "Wake up, Fred!"
How do you
1, 2, 3.
Wake up, Fred.
What's going on? What's trying to wake me up? Is the morning already? I can't see the sun. I think I'll just go back to sleep. Bye.
Fred, wait! Fred! I bought something for you. A present. Wouldn't you like me to give it to you?
Is it a pillow? A warm glass of milk? A teddy bear?
Fred, come on, wake up! I wanted to introduce you to everyone and tell them what you did yesterday.
What do you mean? I thought you said you had a present for me.
I do, but first, I wanted everyone to meet you and hear about how you visited the doctor yesterday. Perhaps you could tell us the story.
I can tell
Can't I just go back to bed?
Come on, it'll only take a minute.
Okay, well, since I'm awake now, let's see. Yesterday, Mom woke me up and I had cornflakes with milk and a piece of toast with honey. Then I brushed my teeth.
Maybe you should just skip ahead a little bit, like when you got to the doctor.
Okay. Then my mom took me to the doctor yesterday because there's some kids I play with who had some sore ears. She said I haven't been in a while. I should go and get my ears checked out too. I was feeling pretty scared because I thought he might have to cut me open or something. But I went anyway.
And did he cut you open?
40 years old.
No.
Yeah, it's
He
quiet.
said he didn't need to cut me open to look at my ears. But it's still pretty scary.
Your mom told me you were really brave because even though you were scared, you went anyway.
Yep, I suppose so.
Well, I just wanted to give you a reward for being so brave. I brought you a sticker.
Wow, thanks. That's great.
Why do you have
It's nothing, really.
Well, now that you're getting big, it's a good example for your little brother and sister.
Why
Being
was
brave at the doctor's was way harder than being brave at the park the day before.
Why is that?
Well, 2 days ago at the park, my two friends Archie and Veronica were playing with me on monkey bar. Suddenly, Archie slipped off and fell off and on his head on one of the poles. Lots of people started crowding around to see if Archie was all right.
Oh no, was and was he? What happened?
Well, Archie was feeling really sore, so even all those people were around. I prayed loud for him, and I wasn't scared at all. Remember a couple weeks ago, back in junior church, when I heard about Paul and Silas, they were really brave. They were singing in the middle of the jail, even though there was an earthquake. And then when they got out of jail, they told the jailkeeper about Jesus.
Well, Fred, you really are brave, aren't you? Just like that Paul and Silas. So what happened to Archie then?
Well, after I prayed, he said he was feeling a little bit better. Then he managed to sit up.
That's great, Fred. I'll tell you what, I think you deserve, guess what, another sticker for being so brave.
Cool, thanks.
Isn't it good that God is always with us? Even when we go to the park or the doctors, He's always there to help us with our problems.
Yep, that's exactly right. Okay, well, now that I'm up, I think I might bring Archie to see how he is. You might want me to come home and play with me this afternoon. Okay, bye.
Bye, Fred.
Thanks, Fred. Oh yeah, we can give Fred a hand clap. So Fred was brave by going to the doctor. Who's ever been scared of going to the doctor? I don't like the doctor. Even though we're here to help us, he can still be a little scary.
Me don't.
And then, who's ever been scared about praying for other people out loud? Well, like Fred learned, God is always with us. Who can read? It didn't change. Who can read this verse for me?
I can't read yet. I can
Who can
read.
read this verse? Elijah, go ahead, nice and loud for us.
The Lord Himself goes before you and will be with you. He will never leave you nor forsake you. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged. Deuteronomy 31:8.
Good job. So this verse, Trey, this verse says that God is always with us. And it says in it that He will never leave us or forsake us. So if God is always with us, should we feel afraid? Isn't it a good thing to know that God is always with us? Always there to help with us? Who can read this verse for me? It's in cursive. But it's got a nice picture of a lion. You know how to read cursive? I got another one. I'll let Sarah and Jordan, I got another one for you to read, okay? Sarah, go ahead.
Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged. For the Lord, your God, will be with you wherever you go.
Good job.
Joshua 1:9.
Good job. So this verse says too, to not be afraid because God is always with us. Are you guys starting to get the point? All these verses kind of say the same old thing. Jordan, you were next. Go ahead and read this one for me.
The Lord is with me. I will not be afraid. What can mere mortals do to me?
Psalms.
118:6.
That's right. Good job. Yeah. So this verse says too that God is with us. Sit down, Lindsay. Should not be afraid. This verse says that the Lord is with us. We do not have to be afraid. I wonder if Esther was thinking of these kind of things. She's getting ready to go see the king, and she's getting her dress on, and she's getting dressed and doing all everything. Because Esther, she had this plan. She was going to see the king. She was going to invite them for dinner. Not only him, but also Haman. So she was getting, I'm sure she was getting all the food ready. I wonder if she was thinking about these kind of things. But the Lord is with me. I will not be afraid. What can mere mortals do to me? Or I wonder if she was thinking about, be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged. For the Lord your God will be with you. And maybe as she was starting to walk down to a king's chamber, I wonder if she thought about Deuteronomy 31:8. I wonder if Esther thought about these kind of things as she was getting ready. Here's another one. Who can read this one for me? Maddie, right? Maddie, go ahead and read that for us.
Be strong and let your heart take courage, all you who wait for the Lord.
Good job. And it's in Psalm 31:24. Be strong and let your heart take courage, all you who wait for the Lord. Because even Paul wrote about this kind of thing, about how God doesn't want us to be afraid. Who can read this verse for me? Let me see. Who hasn't read one yet? Darren, go ahead. Can you read that?
For God has not given us spirit of fear, but of love, power, and of love, and of sound mind.
Good job. It says 2 Timothy 1:7. Good job, Darren. So all of these verses are telling us what? What did I keep on saying over and over and over? All the verses we had on the screen and all the verses you guys just read. What did I keep on saying over and over and over again, Elijah?
Be courageous, the Lord is always with you.
Be courageous because the Lord is always with
And
you.
don't be afraid.
And do not be afraid. Good job, Emily. Isn't that good news?
Yeah.
We don't have to be scared of anybody or anything because we know God is with us. We can be bold and be courageous, and we can be brave. Because there's a many example of courage. There are so many examples of people who had courage. We have them in history, we have them in the Bible, we even have them in Disney. Who can tell me who this is right here?
Moana.
Moana. How did
Everyone knew that.
did Moana have courage?
Yes.
Did Moana have bravery? How? How did Moana have bravery? Elijah?
Going beyond the reef.
Yeah, she went beyond the reef. She went on this big adventure to return. What was it? The heart of Tafiti or something like that?
Yeah, the heart of the feet.
Yeah.
The heart.
And she was the only.
Of the feeding.
And she had to convince the big strong guy Maui to join her. She has Hey Hey, who's probably one of my favorite. Her chicken. I love Hey Hey. He's awesome. So Moana had courage, right? Who can tell me who this one is? Elijah Mulan. How did Mulan and who's this guy? Does anybody know her dragon's name?
That's the dude that. Yeah.
This is the dude who keeps on who puts dishonor on cows. That's who this dude is. Dishonor on. He's the one who says dishonor on you, dishonor on your cow. That's Mushu, her pet dragon. So how did Mulan have courage? We've seen this movie before. How did Mulan have courage or bravery? Athena? She went to war for her father. Her father was supposed to fight in this war. Her father was very old, so he couldn't fight. So she went to war for him. Gave herself a haircut and put her life on the line for not only her father but all of her country. You think that's brave? And there are so many other examples of even Disney people who have bravery, but I don't have time because we're starting to run out of time. And who is? Oh, no.
Douglas.
Yeah, no. We'll see if we have time for him. I don't know if we will or not. Even people in the Bible are examples of bravery or courage. People like Joshua. I mean, we just read it. Joshua in 1:9. That was God telling Joshua to be strong and courageous. What about who else in the Bible who has courage? What are some examples that come to mind? Who had courage in the Bible? Elijah? Jesus, yeah, Jesus. I would say Jesus was courageous in everything that he did. Esther, yeah, we just talked about her. You think, but what about Moses? The guy who go to the Pharaoh and tell people to let the people go? You think that took some bravery?
Yeah, I was gonna say
Moses? What about that guy who took on a giant? What was his name?
David.
David. Big David. Well, little David. Even little David later. Well, I have some puppet friends who are going to tell us the story of David, and I don't know if we'll have time for our song that we're going to sing, but at least I don't think we'll have time for a song, but at least let's listen to the story of David and see how David had courage. So let's watch this.
Hi, everybody. I'm going to read you a story from this here book.
Oh, can I help? I want to help. I want to help us tell the story.
Okay, you can help. Here we go. Once upon a time, there was... You can't
Guys,
hear the story if you're talking.
Let's listen to the story.
There was a boy. His name was David. He lived with his dad and helped him take care of sheep. One day, when David was out in the...
Swimming pool.
No. David was out in the pastures. He was watching the...
Super Bowl.
He was watching the sheep. He was making sure they were safe. All of a sudden, he was a big wild...
Indian.
Are you sure you know this story?
I think so.
Okay, well, he saw a big wild lion. The lion said...
I don't know.
No, that's not what the lion said. The lion said...
Roar!
That's right. The lion said...
Sheepdogs.
The sheep were safe. David would also sing pretty songs to the sheep. He would play songs on his...
Piano.
No.
Piano.
Well, King Saul heard that David was a good singer and harp player, so he sent for David to come to the...
Concert.
No. He sent for David to come to the palace. He wanted David to sing and play for him. And then he would go home to take care of sheep. Then one day, all of David's brothers had to leave. They were going...
Shopping.
They were going to battle. But their enemies, the...
Denver Broncos. All the Packers.
The Philistines. They were coming to fight them. But then David could not go to battle. He would be staying home and help his...
Invisible friend.
Dad. Many days went by. They didn't hear any news about the battle. And then, how David and his brothers were doing. David's dad was so worried. So he told David to take him some...
Tylenol.
Not exactly. But he told David to take some cheese and food to his brothers and to find out how they're doing. So off David went to the
Fairground.
battleground. And when he got there, he couldn't believe his eyes. There was this great big giant Philistines.
Free for
No. He said, send someone out here to fight me. But no one would go because they were so scared. They were so scared. So David said,
I smell the blood of an Englishman.
no. He said that he wasn't scared and that he would go fight the giant. King Saul said that it was okay. So the next day, David was ready, pretty sure to fight the lion. He began to yell at the Israelites. He yelled, King Saul, send out your champion to come fight me. Won't your God protect you? Ha 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 ha. All the Israelites are fleeing. Ha 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 ha. And that's
The end of our story.
Thank you guys. Good job. Even though that boy was just a little confused about the story of David.
A little?
Okay.
They didn't have Super Bowls back then.
They didn't have football teams or Super Bowl or whatever else.
Tylenol.
Or Tylenol. They didn't have any of that. They didn't have any of that. But do you think it took some courage for David to fight Goliath? I mean, if you saw a super tall giant with a sword and a spear and a shield and a dress for war, would you guys get a little scared? I know I would, because Goliath was a really tall dude. He'd break down the roof in this place.
And pick up a slingshot and get a rock and go like that, and the giant dies somehow.
That's right. So God gave David courage, and God will give us courage too. So here's the things to remember with Esther, the final book of history in the Old Testament. Next week we're starting a new section. And next week it's actually a really sad book. Sad story. But that's next week. But for Esther, the thing to take away from Esther, the final book of history,
Is somebody dying?
is that God is always with us.
Amen.
Even when we may not see it or think He is, God is always there to help us.
Job is what he said.
Huh?
Job
It's a story, I'll tell you that. Job had a hard life. But we'll talk about Job next week. But God is what? Yeah. God is going to give us courage, just like He gave Esther, and just like He gave David, and just like He gave so many other people in the Bible. So when He has something for you to do, and when He asks you to do something for Him, you don't have to be afraid, because He is with you and He is there to help you. So let's bow our heads, close our eyes, and pray.